Hey everyone, we're starting off strong with 2025. Today's topic is love for money. We're going to talk about the importance of that and how, dangerous it can be if you're obsessing over this little green paper. So let's sit back, relax, and enjoy today's conversation on the Bump Podcast.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Bump Podcast. I'm your host Shamir, here with my co-host and beloved brother, my rich brother Nabil.
Hey everybody, welcome to our another episode of 2025.
Indeed. Today we're going to be talking about the love for money. Nabil loves his money. He's like Mr. Krabs from
Money.
Yeah. You know what? I think it's hilarious, the anchovies episode.
Yeah.
He's like the smelly smell that smells
Smelly.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the ringle dingle dingle and follow us on all our social platforms. They're down below.
That they are. Why did we choose this topic, Shamir?
Honestly, God works in mysterious ways. Nabil had a list of topics to talk about, and then we chose that one. But also, I was on the phone with a friend before Nabil got here, and we were talking about sports betting. And he's a Christian brother. He's strongly in his path with God right now. And he said, "Hey, I'm not gonna help you anymore with sports betting stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, well that's not a problem." I think that he thought that I was gonna tell him like, "Bro, like yeah, like all right, bro, whatever, see you later." And that's not me, I'm not here to judge anyone. Right. But I think there's different that kind of coincided with what one of the topics that you had.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, this makes sense. Sometimes you got to go with the flow in life and talk about those things, especially now we're in the new year. People are money driven in multiple aspects and people just want to go get it and do their thing. And that's perfectly fine. I just think that we should dive into this topic to bring some type of awareness to people of it's good to be money driven and to have aspirations to be more well economically, but there's certain things that in the path that sometimes as you're growing wealth they might create bad habits of falling in love with the money and being like money is all that surrounds your brain. And we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah, and it could be a slippery slope when you literally wake up every single day like, okay, I need more money. I need more money so that I could buy this and that and that and this. And I think it's important that obviously, yes, money is what provides us our livelihood. That's how we pay for our homes. That's how we pay for our transportation, our food at the table, all of that stuff. Super important. But like Shamir said, we can't obsess over it. We can't make it our idol, if you will. Like we can't worship money because at the end of the day, it's like, what are you going to do when it's not there? Is life over for you? No, absolutely not. There's so many reasons for us to live. Money is just a tool or an instrument that we use in order to be able to have the basic needs that we are required to have. A simplified version of love for money would be essentially placing an excessive and obsessive desire for wealth and material possessions above other values like relationships, personal fulfillment, or morality. Essentially prioritizing money as the primary source of happiness and security in life, often considered a negative trait associated with greed, and prioritizing financial gains over the aspects of life. And I think we've all of us have gone through that at some point or another. Maybe some people are going through it right now, but this is a new year. We're in 2025. We have to be able to discipline ourselves in such a way where, again, it's not our number one thing. Yes, we all have jobs. The only reason we have jobs is to obtain the money, but that's, to be able to provide for ourselves and for our family members and what have you. I know for me personally, last year in 2024, money was a struggle for us. Mm-hmm. It was hell, to be honest. There were moments where my wife and I, we we could barely pay our rent, and that meant, you know, I had to really dedicate time to do Uber Eats and DoorDash, because I didn't even have a day job at the time, and even a day job wasn't really covering it. What else? I had to sell my own possessions, and we come to realize that so many other people have had to do that too.
Yeah.
So something was wrong. You know, like everything went up, but then, you know, our minimum wages was pretty much there at minimum wage. So the economy wasn't lining up with everything, all the prices being raised everywhere you go, but then at work, you're still getting paid the same. You know what I mean? And that's just the economy for you here in the United States, at least. I can't speak outside of the United States.
I just think too that there's a lot of factors of the economy, because I think it's lack of planning on a lot of people's end. You know, I would say for myself too.
Planning how?
Organization, you know, saying, okay, this is the career I want to be in, right? This is the money that my career makes. Because obviously, when you're searching for a career, one of the main things you should look for is
how much you're going to get.
How much you're going to get paid? Is it worth it? You know, because I mean, happiness is awesome to have, but I mean, also, you know, making money needs to be essential for your daily needs. You know, rent, food, and everything else.
Would you consider that though? Money being a form of providing you the happiness, or do you feel like you'll still find joy and happiness without the money?
I just think that the feelings of money, everybody confuses them. The different factors that come with money and without money, because I think that money might bring some sort of happiness, but it doesn't bring full happiness. That's the first thing. And then two, I do think that money does bring peace and tranquility in regards to, you know, okay, the bills are paid. We have food on the table. The car's paid, and all these things are okay. So now you could focus on other things. When people are tied down by their bills and they're only getting by paycheck to paycheck, that alone creates so much stress and anxiety and depression and all these things that it doesn't give you a clear mind to be able to sit down and read a book, to become more knowledgeable in something, or to continue to pursue a career in something. So obviously I think that the system has a lot to do with what's going on. But I think that, going back to what I was saying, I think planning and organizing yourself to see, okay, in the next 5 years, this is how I have to be in life, not this is what, you know, I'm just going day for day, you know, okay, this is going to be my day job.
And that's key right there. A lot of people settle for, I'm just going to go day by day and see what happens. Now, it's important to live your life day by day and worry about the current day that you're in, not tomorrow. Because at the end of the day, we don't know if we're going to wake up tomorrow. So all we can do is deal with what we are in somewhat control of, which is our current day. And some people settle for less. There's I didn't mean to cut you off, by the way. It's just a thought.
Go ahead.
But for example, there's a Publix coworker that we used to work with. There's two specifically that I can think of at the store.
One the other day.
I see two almost all the time because I'm close by there. You know who I'm talking about, I'm sure. Deli department and
the bakery.
And the bakery is the other one, yes. And God bless them. They are so nice.
Yeah, great human beings.
Still to this day, they are wonderful human beings. But they have settled, and God bless them. Like, if they're happy, then, you know, I don't mean this to knock on them, but there's a point that I'm trying to get at, which is they have settled for basically the bare minimum. Yeah. You know, I mean, heck, both of them have been within the company way before we even got in there.
Yeah.
They were already in the freaking company, right?
A couple years on there.
100%. Yeah. And we got in 2011.
Yeah.
You left a little bit before me. I don't remember when you left.
2015.
Okay, so I left 2017, December of 2017. Excuse me. And I mean, they both don't have transportations. One of them just walks the entire time. The other one, I mean, he walks, but he'll take the public bus anywhere he needs to go to.
Yeah.
When you know, I don't know. For me, I guess we all have this is just coming to me now, where it's like we all have different ways of thinking in terms of what we can do with the money. Because for all we know, because of their lifestyle, they might have something hardcore saved up.
Yeah, no, I think the bakery guy definitely has a lot in his 401k, especially because we've talked about it. So I know for a fact there has to be something there. So, you know, maybe with their 40, 50, 60 hours that they put in a week throughout 20, 25 years, maybe they've accumulated something. And you know, hey, one thing about it, sometimes people might be thinking about liabilities. You know, for example, some people are like, okay, let's say I live across the street, like we used to. And the Publix we used to live by, it was literally across the street from us, so we would walk before we had cars and stuff like that. And that's early, or at our young age. But you know, if you think about it, with a car, you got to pay car insurance, gas. With no car, you don't have to pay none of that. So now you're saving that.
Several $100s.
Let's say if you throw that into the public stock, and then it splits by 5, and then it goes to a cheaper price. You know, so those are things that you got to look at. Okay, another thing. You know,
that's a great point.
You know, just sometimes people are like, okay, a vehicle could lead them to a total different lifestyle than what they have. Sometimes people they want to stay in their comfort zone, and they don't want to become social or whatever it may be that's in their mind. So it all depends. But you know, I personally have not settled for the bare minimum. I feel like it's annoying to me. I feel like
we've had the bare minimum too. I think, for sure. and sometimes I think for us that just gets a little tiring because it's like, bro.
So that's what I wanted to get to. So the reason why, excuse me, that I say this is because a lot of people tend to be at the bare minimum and complain a lot, but do nothing about it. Okay. And that's what bothers me, because then there's also people that are in the bare minimum and don't complain. They're like, hey, we're fully blessed. You know, they understand the concepts of life. And my thing is that my question to you guys today is, what are you guys going to do about your current situation?
Yeah.
Economically, let's talk about economics right now. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to continue to complain and do nothing about it? Or are you going to complain or stay quiet and just do something about it? Because at the end of the day, that's your decision. The government, nobody owes you absolutely nothing on this planet. The only people that I see that the government owes anything is to the natives here, and they're actually paying them a check on a monthly basis, which I've seen with my own eyes. If you're an actual native from
Florida,
the original tribes here in Florida, yes, the government is cutting you a check because they know that they stole the land and all this stuff. And if you know, actually going back to the sports betting real quick, the people that have the rights are the natives, which are the owners of the Hard Rock Hotel. So they have.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So, you know, they're the only ones that have the exclusive rights to actual legal betting here in the state of Florida.
Huh.
Yeah.
Revelations. That's phenomenal.
So, you know, but other than that, nobody owes you absolutely nothing. But back on topic, as you go through the process of progressing and leveling up in society, understand that don't always emphasize, okay, like Nabil said earlier, waking up every morning, I need money, because at the end of the day, if you look at it, it's going to consume you, and then you're going to do anything possible in order to make money. And sometimes people end up going the illegal routes.
Oh yeah.
To continue to build wealth, and then when you come to see, you lose everything. You know, it could go either way. And you know, there are money driven people out there that are in love with money and make money all day long, because that's, you know, I do believe that when you have a certain thing on your mind and determination to do something, it'll attract to you. It'll come to you.
100%.
You know, so I think that's why some people always just think that way, because I want to also talk about the other side of the spectrum of people that always think about money and have love for money. But so I understand it to a certain extent, but I believe firmly that it's definitely an unhealthy way to live, because I feel like
so much brain power,
and if you lose it all one day, you know, what's going to be of your life?
People identify themselves based off of how much they make on a yearly basis. You know what I'm saying? So if they lose, it's just like, well, what does that make me? You know,
that's crazy, ain't it?
Well, I mean, I feel like that's because they've been so driven into, listen, I need to make money. I mean, you got people like lawyers, investors, people like that who constantly make so much that if one day things went south and it didn't go their way, it's just like, this is all that I do. Like, what now?
Right.
And that's just kind of sad, because it's like, you know, we live in a world that literally has tried to revolve itself around money from the beginning of time till now. But obviously back then it was bartering, constant trades. Now it's a whole different ball game. There's some interesting bullying points I want to bring. Like the first thing, there's a specific Bible verse that references the love for money, right? Which says in 1 Timothy 6, chapter 6, verse 10, which says, love of money is the root of all evil, which in other words, it's highlighting the potential destructive nature of this mindset, where it's, you know, if you put that in your thoughts, like, number one, it rules over everything else that you do. It's going to affect you in a negative way. You know, the simple need of money to live. What is it? It's not simply about needing money to live, but rather an unhealthy fixation on accumulating more and more wealth. This could also lead to bad behaviors, meaning the obsession can drive people to make unethical decisions, like he said, like, you know, living a life of crime, if you will, based off of money, or neglect important relationships in pursuit of money. So, you know, sometimes you have to figure out what weighs more in your life, the money or the relationships you have with the people.
Yeah.
Are you screwing those people over in order for you to, you know, have more monetary gain?
You know, I was seeing last night, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, good.
I'm not going to mention the rappers, but they're going back and forth in Puerto Rico of
they're battling each other.
Yeah. And but one was saying to the other that he's literally cut off all his good relationships in order to obtain more wealth, and now he's left with no one, to the point where he can't even enter Puerto Rico no more. And literally at the end of the battle, he was like, you know, text your family Happy New Year's because you won't be here for New Year's. You know, so essentially, you know, some people will get to that point where they think that the people that help them make money or help them build their careers and platform and brand, that it's never going to run out, and that you know, you keep cutting those hands that feed you in order to gain your wealth, to the point where it's like now you're alone, you know, and now you think
you can't even share the wealth with other people because they don't want to be around you.
Yeah.
Or you cut them off simply.
And, you know, I feel like a lot of rich people are very hypocritical in order to obtain their wealth and stuff. So, like, you're their friend while you're helping them, and then after they've gained
forgotten about you.
Yeah, they'll push you to the side or act like they didn't even know you. Or if you're lit on fire, they won't even piss on you to turn you off. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the, you know, the way they operate as rich people, which is, I guess, whatever works for you, that's what works for you. But you know, I prefer making a decent amount of money and still having good relationships around me and level those things out in life than to be like, oh, you know, every human is a piece of crap and I'm gonna just backstab them and just gain my wealth.
Yeah, use them for whatever I can gain out of them.
And you look at it and they're all miserable, because then they're living in penthouses with 15 bodyguards and like all this other stuff. And you're just like, why do you have all this money? Why do you have all this fame? Why do you have all these things? And you're, you know, the love for the
money. You're
money,
actually not even happy.
You know what I'm saying? Money can't even save you from these problems now.
At work, I've dealt with people who come to us and, you know, they're all economically well off, and they'll come with their families and whatnot. And you just see them absolutely miserable.
Yeah,
they are not happy, and they don't even know what
you were to think you're having a good day, feeling good.
It's the complete opposite, honestly. And when you go, it's always interesting, right? Because if you go as a guest, you go to have fun. 9 times out of 10 you do. But then when you're working, you really see all different people from all different walks of life. And 9 times out of 10, they're actually not happy. A lot of them come with some money too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just so unfortunate because, okay, you worked hard. You're probably from, you're coming from a different country outside of the United States, and you're arguing, or you're all like, you and your family are completely all just like miserable, for people who deliver food to them or whatever. They don't even say thank you.
Yeah.
They leave a stupid mess everywhere they go.
Yeah.
Like they own the place.
Yeah.
And it's just like, bro, this is what you're working hard for?
Yeah.
It's just
to be miserable.
Absolutely miserable, inconsiderate, entitled. That's unfortunate. Is that the kind of person you want to be today, for those of you watching or listening to us?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Only because it's like, at the end of the day, if you're feeling empty, you're doing something wrong.
All right.
You're probably part of the problem of the root of the whole situation that's going on in your life.
For sure.
And this isn't like us necessarily, pointing the finger at y'all. It's more of the simple fact that, like, you need to do something about this. Become aware of these things and do something about it. Like Shamir mentioned earlier in the episode, where if you're complaining, oh, I need more money, but you're not doing anything about it, like you're not working hard, you're not sacrificing some extra time outside of the regular work hours or whatever, then you need to, put your adult pants on and actually do something about it. We've sacrificed plenty of hours. Again, we've talked about where Shamir gives his time to school, his family, and then the podcast, and his upcoming job. That's a couple projects actually that he has in the works. He's sacrificing sleep time. You know what I'm saying? I've had to do the same thing multiple times at my job currently right now. I've had to sacrifice plenty of times where I can't necessarily spend a whole lot of time with family. But it's just part of adulting. It's part of being responsible and knowing that you're not necessarily doing all of this for the money. The money is part of it. We need it. It is required to sustain our home, but also we're doing it for our loved ones, so that our loved ones can have a better future going forward, so that hopefully once we're super old, we can retire and the next generation comes in and it could be a little easier for them. It doesn't have to be as tough as it has been for us. And honestly, tough situations is what makes us stronger. It makes us more well equipped for other future struggles. So it's all a mindset shift that we have to do, a discipline. And I think that's beautiful to be able to be disciplined, especially with money. If we know how to manage our money,
just having financial literacy.
We're literally learning how to manage money. Where can we cut expenses here and there in order to be able to save, pay for our essential needs, and then still have some left over, just in case, to save up for a vacation, or to eventually buy a house, or update the vehicles that we have, whatever the heck it is, or buy clothes, buy food, change up the food that we're eating to eat something better. Eating healthy nowadays is stupid expensive.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, but a healthy lifestyle is expensive.
Unless you got a farm and you're a farmer.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother ball game too.
Very cheap.
It is, but it also does require a lot of hard work. Like the farm isn't going to run itself.
Yeah, of course.
And an actual farmer will tell you that, it requires multiple people to help out.
That's why it's good to go to a third world country as a career down the road of retirement, and just buy land where you don't owe taxes or anything like that.
Look at Hayden Christensen. He has the actor Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker, and Darth Vader in Star Wars. We've had the pleasure of meeting him before.
Yeah.
He has a farm, I think, in Canada.
Right.
Because that's where he's from. He's Canadian.
Yeah.
And he has a farm over there. Huge land. He's got the whole thing running. While he also has a place in LA too. You know what I mean? He's making that Star Wars money though.
Yeah.
Dude's just blessed like crazy. And that's kind of cool, just to think about, like, wow, once I'm older, like, I can just kick back. This is my land.
Yeah.
These are my animals, and
the crops and stuff.
Oh man, and you don't have to pay taxes. That's beautiful.
Yeah, the United States is the only place on this damn planet that you have to pay taxes for your property. Like, that's crazy. That's just outstanding. Like, I would love
that, and that's a perfect example of straight up greed.
Yeah.
Straight up greed, where it's like you own the place, but you don't.
And then it's like, okay, where does our property taxes and all the taxes we pay go to? The wars, the most ignorant people on the planet, they steal the money. All types of things happen that are just like, okay. You remember back in the day when we used to live here in Oviedo or whatever, and you used to see the roads were immaculate.
Yeah, they were always well taken care of. Now
you used to see the little scrubber go down the road and clean it and stuff. I only see that scrubber only once when they make a brand new road and they'll clean it one time and that's it. I don't see that shit like on a regular basis. Yeah. Back in the day, you had to like literally detour right next to it because the motherfuckers in the way. But what I'm trying to say is that back in the day, you used to see property taxes and taxes in general go to like stuff in society. Now, a lot of infrastructure and a lot of stuff are just like not well taken care of anymore, or they're just building new buildings and the hell with the old ones and stuff.
Well, even the new buildings now, they're made cheaply. Everything's made cheap. Vehicles and cars. There's a difference. Vehicles, homes, so on and so forth. It's all everything is made with a purpose, meaning like houses need insurances, right? Cars need insurances. Why? Because they're being cheaply made so that they can continue making business for other people. Which
and
then,
if a hazard happens or something crazy.
No, but okay, that's fine. But look at how the cars used to be made, for example, and homes used to be made versus nowadays. It's on purpose. Yeah. Everything is done on purpose, right? So that you're spending more money. We don't need to spend all this unnecessary amount of money. If I have a really good car, that the car is made of metal. Not this plastic crap that every time you hit it with, a pole, boom, you got a massive dent. You're like, seriously? I love tap that thing. Yeah. That's crazy to me.
Love tap nowadays are expensive.
Man, yeah, they are. Like just stupid things. Or again, here in Florida, we deal with freaking hurricanes. Yeah. If your roof goes to crap, they don't want to pay for the damage. Yeah. You're paying for a home insurance. What do you mean I can't cover this damage? Yeah. I mean, we could go on and on. I don't mean to detour necessarily, but it's just all these incredible things that has to do with today's topic that are just unfair. But it is life. It is what it is, and we have to deal with it. Yeah. There's a gentleman named Dave Ramsey. He knows about him. Yeah. He read some of his books when he was incarcerated, and they are super helpful. He also has he's a radio host too. I think that's one of his primary jobs, and he's constantly talking about. I think his radio show, you can find it on Sirius XM. I've heard it before. I don't know if you've heard his.
No, I don't like his content.
Oh, really? Okay, enlighten us. Why?
Well, because I've taken some of his classes and stuff like that. Most of it's like everything's all cash. Cash is king. Cash is king. And
this is true. I agree with you.
And then it's easy to say when you're rich like that, but
correct.
And then your process. I don't believe the process that he took to get wealthy. I don't. It's just hard for me to fathom that.
I mean, he came from a different time though, versus now. So I think some of his ideologies, let's call it.
I'm not saying everything's wrong.
No. But I know where you're coming from, and I agree with you 100%. Yes, some of the stuff that he says isn't fully practical.
Because think about this. I'm gonna give you a great example. You remember the Hak Twa girl?
The what?
The Hak Twa, the one that she's like, I'll spit on that thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay. She was an overnight success. I don't think she comes from a ginormously wealthy family, but even if she did, she was, I'm not judging her, but she was an overnight success. Now she's obviously a millionaire already because she's got her brand and she's built it up. She's got a podcast now, got a lot of things going good for her, and that's great. But what I'm trying to say is that nowadays it's so much easier to get rich than to do the things that he's saying. And then at the same time, it's like, yes, there's different times. I just, I don't believe. Just look at how much the country's in debt right now, and you'll see. Yeah. And if you look at bonds and yields and stuff like that, and you go deep into that, bro, like everything is just borrowed nowadays. Like people are just,
of course,
it's bartering and just borrowing, dude. Like it's not what people
borrowing
say.
And never paying back.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like,
You know.
just taking or stealing, if you want to put it that way. But you know,
Yeah.
I just
basically.
his I feel like his book is just to sell a book. It's not.
I don't know. I
phenomenal
found some helpful things, because it's certain things where it's like you can save here, but I said it twice. You can save here by cutting down on certain expenses. That was a helpful thing for me last year and going into this new year.
I saw this guy recently that he says, you know, live below your means. Essentially, you know, if you want certain things, you got to just cut off on it for a little while until
Correct.
you could, you
just
know,
things like that. So
Yeah.
that's why I was going to say Dave Ramsey is helpful for some of these things. And you can listen to, like, you're not going to relate to everything he says on his podcast and things like that. Because again, there's things like where he says you should pay everything with cash. Like if you're getting a new car, don't have a car payment, pay it all in full. Like how am I going to get $25,000 by getting a loan? Because that's exactly what he was just saying. That doesn't work, because it's literally, you're going from one debt to another. Like it's just, the math isn't mathing there. It just doesn't add up. And we could go down a huge rabbit hole for that, and I'm not going to. We don't have time for that today. But look for different ways, you know, different people. Listen to what they say, write, and you know, take notes down and whatnot, and figure it out how you're able to make ends meet, all the while, you know, being able to save up little by little to do achievements. And start with the things that are actually, like, it's nice to go to vacation, but you could do that later on in life, so long as you take care of yourself too, right? 'Cause
Right.
the point is, make sure you take care of your debts first, if you have any. And if you don't, then great, just keep it that way. But sometimes it's hard to keep it that way because adulting is expensive. Find ways to where, like, you can save $5 here, $10 there from every single paycheck.
I want to say something real quick
Yeah.
to all the young bucks out there that are in high school and all that stuff, and you're not paying a single dime in rent, and you have a little part-time job,
Save that money.
and you're in college. If you're a college student, all this money, if you're getting financial aid or loans or whatever, use that money, invest it while you are not paying bills, and
That's what parents need to teach their kids.
grow passive income. Do not waste your time. I wish I would go back in time just
too.
for that. I did actually excellent. By the age of 21, I bought my first house. And you know, I had my dollars. My credit was over
Really
700.
good, yeah.
I was good.
Is it still in the 700s?
No, it's not there, but
Yeah,
I'm
below?
just saying, yeah.
I have it in the 700.
Yeah, it's not up there anymore, but you know, I've made my mistakes in life.
Right, right.
And again, sometimes it's just lack of planning, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, I've made my smart moves as well, and that's my advice to you guys, because I've done both bad and good. And it kind of sucks when you're doing well in life and then you go back down to nothing because you just decide to make wrong decisions, you know.
And I
again,
mean, that's how we learn not to do it again, you know.
but I want to say that, you know, maybe the love for money is definitely a downfall for a lot of people. I
It
think
absolutely is.
that, you know, I wouldn't say I've ever been greedy, but I think that
We all are greedy, though, in different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be with money. Sometimes it's literally just putting yourself first above other people.
well, but that's being selfish instead of greedy.
Well, okay, greedy. Okay, yeah.
Greedy to me is more like these are all my possessions.
yeah.
This is all mine.
Yeah,
Like, that's what I want. And money, that mine. And then
That's true.
you know,
Yep.
be putting people sideways to, like,
Yeah,
you know, I don't want you to make the money that I'm making. But
this is true.
you know, at the end of the day, you know, we should understand that there's better ways to walk in life and have a balance and have a determination to do good, but also help others to do good as well. You know, not everything is just for you, because guess what? Things are plentiful in life. There's a lot of scarce resources out there, but there's a lot of things that are plentiful, and we can make it plentiful if we help each other.
And you're always going to need people in your corner anyway. So if you take care of the people around you, they're always going to want to help you produce more and more too.
For sure.
And then everybody wins. It's so much better to be selfless than selfish.
Oh, for sure.
Do you have anything else you want to add?
I'm good for today. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're going to leave you guys with this. Just a few ways how to be wise with money, okay? First, create a budget, meaning make a budget as one of the first steps in order to be able to manage everything else. Save first, spend later. Set financial goals. Start investing early, like Shamir mentioned. Avoid debt, like I mentioned earlier too. And ensure protection against emergencies. So if your car happens to break down, storm hurts your home. What else? Stock up on food. If something were to happen to you or to a family member, you have the money to take care of, the hospital or doctor, medical bills, whatever it might be. Have that little extra saved up. It's super important. That was something I had learned from Dave Ramsey as well, is have that emergency funds. Last year we took quite a hit multiple times, so we currently don't have an emergency fund, but we're working towards that again. So we're going to leave you guys with that. Hopefully this was an informative episode for you guys. I'm glad we were able to touch upon it because it's a relatable topic for us both currently. And, I'm pretty sure that many of you guys who are listening and watching to us can also relate to this money issue that we've been having. Don't obsess over it. It is important. It is an important tool to have, but it shouldn't be your primary reason for living and waking up every single day. Rather, use it as a tool for positivity, as a tool that's obviously going to help you move from point A to point B, not just by yourself, but with your loved ones.
Indeed. Here's a saying real quick. It says, use money and love people. Don't use people and love money.
Yep.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the ringle-dingle-dingle. Follow us on all our social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and their YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. I said it twice, so you could subscribe, please. We love you guys, and it'll be until next week. Take care, guys.
Have a great week, guys.